So I turn my podcast on, turn the volume up, push play to hear what these dudes will say. 'Cause for romance now I know that there are only hope.
Welcome to another edition of A Talk to Remember. We're so glad to be back. These drafts have been fun, but we're ready to do a movie. So whether you're listening on a podcast or watching on YouTube, we're so happy you're here. I'm Michael W. Blagg. The W stands for Wizard of Love. I didn't name myself that. That's just what it is. With me, we have Brandon Taylor. How are you, Brandon?
Well, Mikey, you suck. I'm doing great, man. I hope everybody's doing a great day. Also, hey, I am so sorry. I actually consider suck a profanity unless you're using it in the form of not the
Which
way
form?
I used it. The way when you tell somebody, Mikey, you don't suck, but that was a really bad move because I'm the Wizard of Love and everybody knows it. So just give me that one thing.
Okay, my bad.
All right, I'm done.
We also have all the way from Conway, Mr. Bradley Toon. Bradley, how are you?
Oh man, I'm good to be with you guys. I'd love to get an hour and a half back in my life, but we'll get to that shortly.
Also in Conway, we've got Mr. Nathan McDivitt. Nathan, how's it going?
It's going very great. Also, sorry to all our listeners that we have to move this to explicit because of Brandon's outburst.
He said so.
I'll be honest. My Meemaw is going to watch this. I talked to her on the phone, and I am so sorry, Mom. I love you so much.
She's probably gonna be more
incredible.
scared of your pictures than the words that you say.
You look like, is it Raven or Storm? What's the X-Men that does that?
Yeah.
Storm.
Well, I'm actually a lagoon.
Well, quote the Raven.
Oh, nevermore.
Never
All right,
Storm.
speaking of Nevermore, let's move away from Brandon. And we also have Soundman Taylor here. Taylor, never mind. We don't have time for that. Anne. We have a guest with us this week. Her name is Anne, and this is a movie that she wanted to do. So, Anne, welcome to the show. Why did you pick this movie?
Well, it was the best one on the list I was given. So, no, it's great. It's a story about sisters and young love-ish. Yeah, and a great dad, which we'll talk about soon.
Okay. All right. So the movie we're doing is.
If you hold on right now, Brandon, do you know the name of this movie?
Sorry, I had myself muted. It is something about love.
No,
to all the boys I loved before.
Okay, I have a hard time remembering. I'm like, I trip on it all the time. I was curious if you had the same problem. Clearly
very
not.
much so. Now I have a problem with almost all of them though. So
Well, yeah.
Well, let's get right into the movie. Let's look at the poster. Taylor, can we get that pulled up?
Yeah, we can in a second.
This is new technology. So if you're watching and not listening, you can look at the poster with us. Brandon, because you're so good at this, I'm going to let you describe this poster first. Here it comes.
Okay, so the way that this picture looks is you have a nice lady. I think her name is like Sarah Jean or something, or Sarah Lee. Laura Lee. And you have the lady, and it's like a young high school girl, and then there's a heart around her, but the heart is actually all of these like letters with hearts, and then there's like guys like Josh and Peter and Kenny and Lucas, and it just says the letters are out. And Netflix films all the boys I loved before. And that's really it.
So you're just literally going to describe the poster, not so much what you thought the movie would be based on the poster.
Well, in case they didn't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. Let me, I thought the movie was going to be about a girl who, I thought it was going to be about a girl who wrote love letters. I felt like she would have intentionally mailed out the love letters to all these guys because she just wanted to be nice. She's a nice girl. Looked like a nice girl to me. I like her, Laura Jane. So,
all right, Nathan, what are you thinking?
Well, so actually, this is live because I did not know that there was a poster. But as I look at it, I see the small letters in the middle that say the letters are out. And there is a lot of nice, like, nothing about it seems ominous. So I don't think it's quite as like graphic as 13 Reasons Why, but I get the sense that there's like this, in these letters, there's like a series of letters and each one of them tells some sort of story. It doesn't look like a horror story. It's probably a love story. And that's just kind of where I land.
So for me, I looked at it and obviously it looks like it's making a heart behind her, but I thought it was going to try to be like a little deeper than that, than even the heart. It looks like the mural that you would see in downtown Nashville that all the girls want to get their pictures by with the wings. Or is that wings? Is that what it is? So that's what I kind of envisioned this as, with this girl who's like, she's a caterpillar and something's going to happen to make her that social butterfly, you know? And so I thought that's what that would be based on this heart wing thing. Bradley, what do you think?
Is somewhat similar to what Nathan said. At first I went like, I don't want to say dark, but like she either left a town or maybe even passed away, and all these letters to these boys she loved somehow drew them together, and she was the magnet that brought them all together, something like that. But it's too the writing is too positive for that, but something mystery. That's kind of what I felt. That probably didn't make any sense, but that's what made sense to me.
Anne, do you want to play the game? Like what you would think it would be based on with the poster alone, or do you just want to skip over that?
I like the handwriting.
Okay. All right.
It's very pretty.
Yeah, it's really nice. And clearly it's from her journal, right? It's like from her heart. And I think, yeah, they're all those guys. There's several guys on there. So definitely a story is about to come out. Just different little, like, if they were, like, before they were emojis, just all the things that describe them, or, yeah.
But we are definitely in the time with the emojis with this movie, because it feels like these are kids that somebody would be babysitting right now. Let's jump right into it. Taylor, I'm going to give you a few seconds to get that plot pulled up, and we're going to get this going. All right, you take it away whenever you're ready.
All right. High school junior Laura Jean Covey writes letters to boys she feels an intense passion for before locking the letters away in her closet. Her latest letter is to her childhood friend Josh, who is dating her older sister Margot. When Margot moves to college, she breaks up with Josh. Laura Jean has always had a crush on Josh and has to decide if it would be okay to date him. That's paragraph 1. You want more?
Is that enough people to talk about?
We'll start here.
All right.
So right off the bat, we see the Portland skyline. I'm a big fan of Portland. Portland has a lot of good food, and it's a weird city. That's kind of their thing. Keep Portland weird. And I really liked it. So right from the get-go, as soon as we see the city, I'm in. I'm off to a good start.
Well, before that though, before it does that, I think it does a thing that a lot of these movies do, where it starts out and you think it's going to be a different story because it's like they're in olden times, run into each other in a field, and then it's like, no, that's not it. We're in Portland. So I feel like this has happened to us quite a bit this season, where we've got faked out a little bit. But that was the first thing I noticed. What do you got, Brandon?
Oh, me. You know, I really liked it when they were in that field, because I tend to be a daydreamer myself. I have daydreamed about a lot of relationships that never happened. Actually, most of mine have not been real, just a figment of my imagination. So I could really relate to that.
Hey, Mom.
Yeah. Oh, there's others I can send her. But yeah, so I liked it. I don't remember much about it. I knew it was in the Northwest, just because I could tell. I had that vibe. The way the trees looked really tipped me off. So yeah, kind of, you know, whatever start. And I was excited because they were in high school, and I was ready for a good coming of age. We're due, right?
Yeah. Bradley, Anne, what do you got? I don't really know what he said about this first paragraph.
We got the breakup. So we got the breakup and the fact that she writes letters.
Okay. So Anne, Bradley?
It's a very artsy beginning, you know. She reads romance novels, so that's like the world she's in, right? And it's kind of funny because how she snaps back to reality as a pillow kind of hits her face. So I think when you're in high school, you know, you can kind of live in that dreamland of like the perfect scenario, and then you're brought back to reality pretty quickly.
Yeah, I would say it sets up the movie really well. I mean, it gets into her psyche a little bit, and it also kind of lays out the family dynamic. It lays out all of the reasons and the things that are going on with her family and kind of her crushes, at least initially. So I thought that was really good. I will say the guy that she's been in love with for so long, his opening line in the movie, he walks through the door and says, "Sorry, I was trying to meditate, but I fell asleep." So not a great first impression for me. Real deep for a 15-year-old. But anyway, besides that, I did think the movie did a good job of kind of letting you know where it was going early on.
So I'll say, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and also, like, I agree, Bradley. It right from the get-go, it lets you know that she writes all these letters as a way of coping with the emotions because she's kind of scared to tell them to their face. And so she writes them a note and she addresses it. Teaser right there. She addresses it, and then puts it in this little velvet box that her mom gave her, who has passed away.
And she even puts the stamps on. Like, they're ready.
She didn't put the stamps on.
I thought that it says she did.
No, she addressed
Maybe
them.
she had the return address. Maybe.
Oh, okay.
You know, something that I thought when I was watching this film, I thought Margot was a little too chummy with Josh right before she squashed his dreams. Because, you know, didn't that feel that way? Like, normally, if I was Margot, I would be a little bit more standoffish in the beginning. And that way he could kind of see it coming. So. But,
Brandon, in Margot's defense, your dead mother didn't tell you never go to college with a boyfriend, because that's some sound advice right there. Just always break a heart before college.
Hey, and she ended up going to like Switzerland or somewhere.
Scotland. Yeah, that was another part. Like, let's go all the way to Scotland for college.
I don't know.
He just surprised her that, you know, with his tickets. I'm coming.
That's right.
Like, I just wondered if no tickets, would they?
Has anyone ever done that to you guys?
I've never been to Scotland, so.
No, just like, hey, I'm showing up.
Oh, yeah, just out of nowhere. Yeah, that's happened a lot. Majority, most of the time. You want a cheese fry?
Yeah, there was a girl who had bought a plane ticket to come see me, and when she told me she did, I was like, I don't think that's a good idea to do that. I'm really sorry you did that. I offered to send her a check, but she told me don't worry about it.
Look at you. That's nice.
Actually, that same thing happened to me. I will say the one of the few instances I did, and I think she actually came, and she was really nice, and actually she's doing way better than I am, so it all worked out.
I mean, I feel pretty good about this first paragraph. Should we move on?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, Taylor, take us on.
So one night, while hanging out with her little sister, Kitty, Laura Jean falls asleep on the couch, allowing Kitty to sneak into Laura Jean's room and find her collection of letters. That's rude. The following Monday at school, Laura Jean is confronted by a former crush of hers, Peter Kavinsky. Peter reveals he was mailed his letter, causing Laura Jean to faint. After waking up, she sees Josh approaching with a letter of his own, and in a moment of panic, Laura Jean kisses Peter on the school track to throw Josh off before running off. End of paragraph.
Okay, so if you're not listening to this or watching this, but you're watching the movie, you don't know that little sister has found those letters yet. Like, that's something we find out later, but we just know the letters got out. So anybody got anything with all that?
No. Does it? Oh, I mean, I guess we don't see her grab the letters and put them off, but clearly she went upstairs looking and she was in the closet and she saw
even remember that scene.
She saw the box.
Was it that, or that they may have gone to Goodwill or something?
I don't remember any of
I
that.
felt pretty confident that the old sister mailed them.
Well,
Yeah, because remember, she's like doing this over her face, and then she runs upstairs and she looks in the closet and she sees the box, and then it cuts scene to the
I
scene
must
on the
have
track.
blacked out through an entire scene of that.
I think you're right.
I think you need to reevaluate everything you've written down on a piece of paper.
I don't remember any of that.
Nathan, let's have an alliance. Mikey, you're the worst.
So I did. I'm going to show you this. I don't know. For those on the podcast, you'll have to check out our YouTube. I made a web of relationships, okay, based on all of the people who played, because I found that there was a lot of people being introduced, and I wanted to know how they were connected. So you've got the main character, Laura Jane, okay. Her sister is Margot, okay, and Margot was dating Josh at one point. Now they're broken up, but Josh was Laura Jane's childhood crush. She was in love with him. Okay, the second guy crush that she ever had was Peter Kay, who's gone on to play lacrosse. He's this jock. He's something else. He is dating or was dating this girl, Genevieve, who was Laura Jane's best friend. And so you meet all these people in a span of like 30 seconds, seems like. But here's my web. Can you see that?
Wow.
I know you can't read it, but that's a
Yeah,
It's impressive. Good job, Nathan.
I had to decipher that. I'll clean it up and put it out. We can put it on our Instagram.
That's a hot mess, is what we'd say in the South.
and
It
we
is a
hear
hot
that
mess.
like because he's described a couple. There are 5 of these guys that these letters are going out to. Genevieve that you've talked about, she is the definition of the teen angst in this movie. Like she gets to bring that on the scene. She's a lot. So, Brandon,
Can
what
I
else
talk
you
about
got?
her? Oh,
Yeah, go for it.
she is the literal worst. She really is. She, I obviously there's some underlying hurt in there, and there's a second one of these. If you guys didn't know already, there's going to be a third. So buckle up.
I can't wait till we watch it.
But I just think she's got like this permanent look of disdain on her face. She's the worst. And she's so mean. I just don't care for her.
Well, in her defense, what's her name? Laura Jean, Laura, whatever.
Laura
She
Jean.
did kiss her boyfriend that she knew she was in love with. So she brought all this on herself.
It was Spin the Bottle, wasn't it?
You talking about the original or on the track?
The original.
So I've never been invited to play Spin the Bottle, but that's high stakes there. Look, if the bottle lands on you, you got to smooch. It was less than a 10-seconder. Laura Jane should have gotten off scot-free. Genevieve way overreacted and was so passive-aggressive in the way that she commented on her shoes.
LJ even like said, I don't want to do this. And they're like, well, it's nothing. It's just the game. And so that's what it was.
Wow.
Very innocent if you ask me.
Wow.
It was just a boop.
I will say this, that one of my favorite lines in the movie was, so clearly the 11-year-old, I forgot her name. Kitty. So Kitty is she's kind of popular. She's the it girl in 6th grade.
Right.
And, apparently so they're watching chick flick or watching some movie.
Golden Girls.
That's right. It is Golden Girls. I actually wrote that down. How did I miss that? They're watching Golden Girls, and she says, Laura Jane, you this is pretty bad. Like you're 16 years old. It's a Friday night, and you're having a Golden Girls marathon with your 11-year-old sister. And I canceled plans so that you didn't feel so bad.
That was pretty bad.
And her sister says that's harsh, and she says the truth hurts, Laura Jean. So she
Good.
Yeah, I definitely thought that the sister Kitty seemed way older than 11 in this movie.
But that's the thing. Is the little kids are always the most mature.
Always.
Yeah, they can figure out how to buy a plane ticket before the internet exists and capable of flying across country to New York to find a kid.
You talking about Sleepless in Seattle?
Yes.
Yeah. Great movie too.
So good.
Hey,
Okay. So go.
Oh, sorry. I want to say, the dad. Okay, that
We just talked
man
about him.
is the nicest in the world. So cool, and he is the same guy with the long hair from my big fat Greek wedding. And
Yes.
I love that guy.
Yes. What you two, Bradley and Mikey? You didn't agree.
They did not.
I don't know. The
Man,
Big Fat Greek Wedding.
I hate being on this side, but I'm kind of anti the dad in this whole thing.
Oh.
Not anti the dad. He's just made to be super aloof and clueless. And the girl's like, oh, silly dad, you're just whatever. And it just seemed like he didn't have a lot of depth. And I just really.
He was a doctor.
He's a doctor, but he was just like, oh, what's going on in my daughter's lives? Oh, silly me. Like, I don't know. I just didn't love it. I didn't love it. And
Do you feel like he's trying to keep his dead wife's traditions alive? Like in the culture and all of that? Do you feel like he's trying?
I'm sure, yeah, I think he is. I also I just, like I said, I feel like he's a little bit aloof. They make him seem silly, like the girls are a little bit smarter than him. I don't love when that happens. Sometimes it happens in movies, but I just feel like they could have added a little bit more depth to the guy.
Only thing that he
That's just
did
my
that
opinion.
won me over is dadgummit. Laura Jane is cooking some cupcakes. Laura Jean is cooking some cupcakes, and so that she could have fun with Popovich or whatever his name was. Peter. He cooked her cupcakes. What a heck of a guy!
He's a nice guy. I just think he's a little too silly. Like for the situation, I think he's a little too. Like I don't know.
I think there are a lot of characters in this movie that didn't have a lot of depth, and so he's just one of many.
I think Mikey needs to scoot over. I need to make room on the hate train for Bradley.
Well, I mean, here's the other things that bothered me is she's got these 5 dudes that she wrote these letters to. We meet 3 right away. We've got the guy that she meets on the track and kisses, Peter Popovich, or whatever Brandon called him. We've got the guy next door who falls asleep meditating. Then we got the other guy. Is his name Lucas?
Lucas.
He seems like a good dude. And then they write him out of the story immediately. This is a story that's supposed to take place in high school. And normally if you're in like a coming of age high school movie, or a TV show, you've got that one teacher that like changes things. I don't even remember a teacher in this movie.
I don't know that there were adults in the movie.
Yeah, it was just like kind of a side plot that they're in school, but did they have to be? They could have been out at the mall or anywhere. It was just, there was a lot of this that just didn't feel, it felt like an ABC after school special movie to me, and less of a movie that is people were in love with. So that's where I felt.
This is adapted. I think this is adapted from like a teen romance novel. Yeah. So, and the author actually makes an appearance in the film. Just some useless trivia for you.
This one. Who was the author?
Actually, you know what? Was there a dance?
Mm-hmm. So she went to the dance with Lucas.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
She went to Lucas freshman year.
I think she's a chaperone, ironically. I think.
Yeah. She makes an appearance in that.
But that was my beef on the ski trip. There's like no adults to be found.
Ever.
Like maybe
you're jumping ahead, Ann. You're jumping ahead. We're not at a ski trip yet.
Okay.
So are we good?
Well, I think since on where this next one picks up, Taylor, I'm trying to figure out where they ended by the kid, like just that on the track. Is that where we ended?
Correct.
Okay. So they've not yet gone to the cafe.
I don't know anything about a cafe, but I know nothing about this movie except for the 2 paragraphs I've read.
Cool.
Well,
all right.
there's an agreement that's made. So are we to the agreement?
No, that is the next paragraph.
Okay. Well, let's just go there. Let's go into that.
Let's do it.
So Laura Jean then encounters another recipient of a letter, Lucas, who comes out as gay as she realizes all the letters have been mailed. She then explains to Peter she was merely causing Josh to think she lost interest in him. Peter is surprisingly okay with this and proposes he and Laura Jean fake date each other to make his ex-girlfriend, Laura Jean's ex-best friend and current #1 rival, Jen, jealous. She agrees, and the next few months go by with the whole school, along with their respective friends and families, believing the lie.
That's good. I think that's a good place to stop. So they agree. They come to terms in an agreement that they're going to fake date, right? Which from the get-go, I'm thinking, can't fool me. You're going to fall in love. I know this. I know this story. You're going to fall in love. And they kind of came up with some stipulations, and I do want to pause on this. So one of the stipulations, I think it's the first one, if I'm not mistaken. Is it 16 Candles? Is that the first? Is that their first agreement? So her non-negotiable movie is 16 Candles. She's like, I can't believe you haven't seen 16 Candles. But because he wants to walk
back pocket move.
Yeah. Back pocket move. Okay, so it's the second one, I guess. She says like, we're not going to actually kiss. I want my firsts to be with someone, like I want them to be real. I don't want them to be fake. I want to be with somebody that I'm with, whatever. So they that's the first one. And then that brings up that, well, what if you can put your hand in my back pocket, because that's what happened in 16 Candles. Anyway, so she says the second thing they agree on is she's got to watch, or she wants him to watch 16 Candles with her. And he's like, he said something about, I don't know, Fight Club got brought into it. So my question
because there's rules. You can't talk about it.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
So my question was to you all, what is that one non-negotiable movie? Like if you're Brandon, Mikey, you guys are, if there was a movie that you were like, man, this girl's got to watch it. And then we can kind of kick the tires on this thing and get it started.
Just dropping that bomb.
Let me take it from here, everybody. Look, Helldogo's great, instant classic with Viggo Mortensen, but that's not it. Holes, best book the movie adaptation, and it's got Louis Stevens, aka Shia LaBeouf. But the GOAT is, of course, Shawshank Redemption. Get you some Andy Dufresne. So you gotta watch it. You gotta watch the Shawshank.
Man,
Mikey, now you're up.
I know. I'm trying to think. So here's how I'm thinking through this. Like,
can I interrupt you?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is like the girl watches this movie with you to get you. Like, oh, so he likes this kind of movie. Like this kind of tells.
Okay, if that's how we're playing, then Shawshank ain't gonna teach a girl anything about that guy over there.
Get busy living or get busy dying.
That game's over.
I think that would be the sword in the stone.
Mikey, I think you're skirting the question. What is
I'm trying to think of what a movie that would be me. What would you pick?
One
Nate?
of your movie quotes from the other day.
Well, I was just trying to win.
I'm just thinking about like one of your go-to movies, like you love a lot, and it also like, man, this is something that we could connect over because this is a movie that I really like. It's not meant to be that hard.
I said, what would your movie be?
I think when Claudia and I when we first started dating, one of the movies that I wanted her to watch with me was Phantom of the Opera.
Okay. You know what movie I love that a lot of people haven't seen that I make them watch? This would be it. This is my movie.
Good. This is what I wanted.
It's called The Way, Way Back.
Yeah.
And if you haven't seen it, you need to watch it. That's one of the best movies you've never seen. So anybody listening, check it out. Bradley,
That's
what
perfect.
about you?
So my wife, I don't know about me. She, one of them for her, golly, I can't. Oh, Pearl Harbor. That was the one that Beth, later on, it was kind of like one of her litmus tests, was like, if he can watch Pearl Harbor with me and like it, then they've got potential. And apparently I did. I also called it before halfway through, which I was pretty proud of. Anyway, yeah, that was probably the one.
You knew the Japanese were coming?
I knew. I just knew, man. Had a hunch.
I think that ship is going down.
Had a hunch.
Taylor, you're hilarious.
What about you, Ann?
Well, I could be nice and just say, you've got mail and call it good. But I think if he truly, truly loves me, a good really test would be all three, like the consecutive of the Anne Green Gables series. Like it's a lot. It's a lot. But you know what?
Oh, that's good.
Real quick, can I say a side story?
For sure.
In high school, there's a girl I had a huge crush on, and she wanted me to watch Gone with the Wind with her. It's her favorite movie. That sucker is like 4.5 hours long.
Yes,
Wow.
it
The
is.
same night, one of my best friends, his parents had tickets to the Oklahoma City Thunder game. Miami Heat. Dwayne Wade is playing in his prime.
I know which one you picked, right?
They had second row seats to a Thunder game, and I turned them down, gave them to my parents to watch Gone with the Wind. I was getting pictures from my parents. Dwayne Wade was within arm's reach of them, and I was cringing. I was
Good
suffering.
thing you married her.
Wow.
Did not.
Oh.
Spoiler alert, did not marry that one. So, yeah, that was tough.
Well,
The mistakes
hindsight's
you made there
2020.
allowed you to get your wife later. That's the key.
Taylor,
the key.
I would love to hear what your movie is, but we're out of time. We've got to run to a commercial break. We'll be right back.
Hello, Talk to Remember friends. It's me, Haley. I've been on some podcast episodes before. Maybe you remember, maybe you don't. It's okay. But what you probably do remember is the Coffee House. We're the sponsors of this podcast. And something that we wanted to let you know, it's super exciting. We're reopening Monday, May 4th. Here's a little information about that. So we will be open to in-dining, limited capacity, but we will also be offering curbside. So just give us a call at the Coffee House and tell us you want it curbside, and we'll bring it to you. Look out for some themed drinks that we're going to be doing with the guys from Talk to Remember. Follow us at the Coffee House Franklin on Instagram. Our address is 144 2nd Avenue North. If you get confused, there's a little construction going on. See the construction? You're at the Coffee House. That's the Coffee House in downtown Franklin.
And we're back, and we're going to jump right back into this movie. We've talked kind of about a little bit of the deal breakers. Woo! And so now they're taking off down this fake relationship path, and they're faking it for everyone. So
hold on. There's the last stipulation on the whole thing was that Peter said, "But you've got to go to ski trip with me." And apparently, ski trip is like this debauchery place where you go and the things happen. You make
Sandwich
sandwiches
much
for the first time, I guess. But that's the last stipulation. You got to go on this ski trip. Now, he wasn't insinuating that they make sandwiches.
Right.
No.
He would say, you got to go because I know Jen's going to go, and I need you to make her really jealous.
And it's so far down the line that LJ thinks this thing's going to be over. She's like, sure, because she doesn't think it's ever going to be an issue. So you're right. That is the last stipulation. And so then they're faking this a few months and in the school, at parties.
Yeah, they go to a party.
Yeah. So has anybody got anything to add to all this? Bradley, you just watched this. I know you've got thoughts on all this.
Man, I'm trying to be respectful. The
Why?
That's a good question. It's just really, it's over the top in a lot of ways. I think that they're trying to be, it's almost like a horribly, kind of like I said, there's no adults. So it's like it's a terrible version of Charlie Brown where the kids are trying to be adults. But it kind of backfires because the guy's like, oh, would you like a plastic cup? It's got kombucha in it. It's great for my digestive system. Like there's never going to be kombucha at a high school party. So just that in a nutshell is what I thought of a lot of these scenarios. Also, here's the thing, man, you started this. Y'all got me rolling. I think the premise is really cool. I think the book would probably be good. I do. I like the plot. I think that her dealing with it by the letters, that's fine. I just think the acting was so just tough, just to be really honest. It was hard to be drawn in to the movie. Oh. So them already, like Peter is just kind of a lame, his acting is just super lame. And like they're already in a fake relationship, but a real one. And he doesn't do a good job of convincing us. I don't know. I just was not a fan, man. Just was not a fan.
What about, Mr. Positivity? What do you have over there? Anything?
Who you talking to?
He knows.
Oh.
Look, here's what I'm going to say. Yes, the movie had its ups and a lot of downs. But you know what? Peter Popovich had some incredible hair. And I couldn't keep my eyes off it. And I say that with all due respect. Now, I'll be honest. Him and old Sarah Jean, they don't really go together.
Laura, let it happen.
They don't go together all that well. But, hey, I'm starting to figure it out. Old swoopy hair, he was pulling it fast and he loved her from the beginning. That car scene, that flirty little, oh, you're going to hit me with your car? Look, when guys smolder and talk like that, they're trying to woo in their female. And that was his way.
But now to jump back on Team Bradley, if we go by that theory, where from the get-go, he's kind of has feelings for this girl, then he sure spends an awful lot of time with that ex.
Look, sometimes in high school you make mistakes and you want two girls
over and over and over again. Like if your fake girlfriend by high school code gives you her favorite scrunchie, and the first thing you do is let your ex just leave with it, probably not going to be the best dude to root for.
Well, you know what? People aren't perfect. People
Amen.
make mistakes. It happens.
I have something to say about that.
Okay.
Save me, man.
Listen, you do not take another girl's scrunchie. These are important. These are vital.
I'm with
These
you.
are tools for life. And the fact that he was such a dork and just let her rip that off his hand, and then she lords it around or parades it around Laura Jean when they get off the bus later, is just, it was disgusting. That's probably the thing of all the things. That's what made me the most mad.
Look,
It's so unsanitary.
Oh yeah, that too. There's
Scrunchie.
lice. Lice is a thing.
What's
But
that?
You don't know the
seriously,
scrunchie. No one knows the scrunchie if you're a man.
hair
That's
tie,
true.
scrunchie,
I wouldn't know. It wasn't like it was his football jersey that she
and the
had
1800s
given-
a ribbon.
or like a gold chain,
Or the ring, the high school ring.
the high school ring.
It might as
Look, I-
well
Really great
been.
investment.
I think y'all.
This is special to me.
Was that a thing in high school for y'all? Did a girl like give you their scrunchie or give their hair tie and
No,
you wear it?
It's coming back now. My 7th grade boys have like 15.
Really?
Yeah, I
It's,
don't, yeah.
it's coming back.
Wow.
I think you all are. I think y'all are overblowing that a little bit.
No,
the
I'm
the
not.
scrunchie deal.
Preach.
I think that so at this party, you've got what you've got to realize is that neither one of them are like, it's a fake relationship because they want it to be perceived as something else. Like for Peter, his whole reasoning for this thing was to create jealousy with Genevieve, which it does, and she takes it like the reason why he lets her take it is because he ultimately wants her, and this is part of the whole. All right, so I'm going to let her think that I've moved on and I'm with this other girl, and so she thinks she's in control when I'm really in control because I'm letting her take the scrunchie. I think this is the role that he's playing, and all of this. I think for Laura Jean, I think it's all just whatever. Like as long as my sister, who's my best friend, as long as her ex-boyfriend doesn't think that I like her, I'm fine with it.
You know, normally I would jump in here and tear all that apart, but I don't have to this time because there's somebody else here that wants to do all that for me. So Bradley, I'm going to let you take this one.
But she said before they walked into the party, which was super uncomfortable being in there in the first place, had no clue what to do in a party. The first thing he wants to do is take a selfie and put it on her camera. And then he takes her scrunchie and she says, please give it back. It's my favorite scrunchie. So if you had any amount of thoughtfulness in your heart or body, you would not let your ex just steal the scrunchie. If we're going to go back to the scrunchie, that's where we got to go. And so
You
Peter's
totally
like,
would.
Greasy,
You
how
would if you wanted to be
Ben's
with
hair
your
was.
ex. You
But
would
that's
do
so
whatever the ex wanted to do. You're acting so shocked by that.
I'm Team Brad.
He doesn't want to be with Laura Jane at this point.
I'm team.
He
but
wants
he
to be
doesn't
with his
respect her
ex.
by keeping the scrunchie. It's so much more than the scrunchie, Nathan.
It
You
is
just don't get
so
it.
much more. That's the name of
Don't
this
get it, man.
podcast. So much more than a scrunchie.
Wow.
That's
to all the scrunchies I've loved before.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
So
Oh, man.
Brandon, I think they're overblowing this, Brandon, a little
I
bit.
think we're making a mountain out of a molehill, so I'm not going to talk about that anymore. However, I would like to come back to the kombucha. Okay, if you've never had kombucha,
It's good stuff.
it is like a combination of rat odor with spoiled cauliflower. Oh my mercy!
It's a combination of rat
so bad.
poison, spoiled cauliflower, coming off the high peak and roll.
Oh, I love it when you do that. Oh,
That's not bad.
jeez.
I will say, so after this whole party incident, Peter kind of gets uncomfortable at this point. He wants to leave because he realizes, whatever. I don't know what he realizes. But
What does he realize?
I think he realized what he did, and he's just like, "Well, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna leave." Look, you're never mind. Okay, we'll move on.
I'm dying
So
on the
they
hill.
they go,
Scrunchie Hill.
which is fine. Which is
and
fine.
then, can I cut in just a second?
Sorry.
Go for it.
Okay, so you're about to say they leave this party and they go to this diner.
Mhm.
And at this diner, he's asking her questions or whatever, and she says, well, this isn't real. And you can see that breaks him a little. So if that breaks him in this moment, then that means even at that party, he already had sort of feelings for this girl. So if he's giving her scrunchie away, he's not the best dude in the world.
I think sometimes you just don't know what you want. Look, when you see cake batter and it's sitting there sloshing around in a pan before you put it in an oven, it doesn't know that it wants to be a moist, incredible piece of sweet bread with chocolate frosting all over it, with flour frosting leaflets.
Is this a real analogy, or do you just want to talk about cake?
It figures it out in the oven, and it took a little heat, took a little pressure, and all of a sudden, Peter Popovich realized through some intentional conversation
real name?
that he loved Sarah Lee, and that's where I'm thinking.
Oh,
I'll be honest. I think that's
Kavinsky.
pretty. That's pretty Kavinsky. That's pretty. It's pretty tight there. That analogy. And I'll just leave it at this. Like, I'm not trying to make his action out to be like the right thing to do. I'm just saying he wants to get back with his ex. At the same time, he's starting to really enjoy this fake relationship. That's not too out of the ordinary as far as what someone might go under in a situation like that. I think you all are making this whole Scrunchie thing out to be like this golden sacred cow, and it's
the most depth of the movie. This Scrunchie
Can we
was the heart of the movie.
You miss out on a lot of this movie, Mikey.
We cannot fix something so ridiculous, Michael Blagg.
That's right.
I'm just trying to buy in.
I think there's a deeper issue here. Why do boys like Peter go for girls like Jen?
Whoa.
Sandwiches. I'm not trying to be crass. I'm just saying, like, they don't think with their head.
Wow.
They think with something else. And anyway, so they go to this diner, and at this diner, this is when Peter starts to realize that, like, maybe I do feel for this girl, because they start opening up about Peter's dad left he and his family when they were young, and Laura Jean's mom died when she was young, and so they connect on a level in regards to their being without a mom or a dad, depending on who you're talking about, and then she says something. She says a line that I thought was really, really good. She says, they're talking about, I'm trying to remember the exact context. She says something, he asked her about why she didn't have any boyfriends or why she hasn't had one. And then she gets to the point where she says this: the more you let people in your life, the more people can walk out. And so all of this is a defense mechanism to not get hurt, because she's hurt that her mom died when she's young. And I thought that was a really great line. And so they're at this diner, and then they leave. She takes them home. All along, it's like, it like will flash September, October, November, December. Like they're going through all of these different months up until they go to the ski trip.
But before the ski trip, because I know we're about to go there, I think this is another reason, like this. I mean, I didn't care for the movie anyway, but I tried to get into it. And
did you?
I did. I really did. But here's the thing, like. So what you said, like, that's a great line. She's tired of people just walking away. And you've got this guy who it feels like he's in, but he's out, but he's in, but he's out. We haven't even talked about her, but she's got this big-eyed best friend. I don't even know her name. Some
Christine.
Weirdo. Yeah. They're hanging out under the bleachers after Popovich has already, like, kind of showed that he's interested. And you can hear him still with this other girl trying to make it work. And I think that's where I struggle the most with this movie, because even though she sent out 5 letters, it's basically 2 guys it's down to, is the way it seems. And it's Neighbor and it's Popovich. And even between the 2 of them, the Neighbor maybe gets 10 minutes of screen time. So it's this other guy that we're supposed to be rooting for, but he just keeps doing stupid things. Like, and I don't want to root for him.
Man, I can't. I understand where you could be frustrated at that. Like, I get it. But the whole movie and the whole premise of that relationship is a guy who's torn. And I'm not saying that he did everything right, and I'm not saying that she is
he did
perfect.
Anything right?
Yeah, he did. He did a lot of things right. He didn't drink and drive. He drank kombucha instead of drinking beer. So
what a guy! I love him.
That's one thing. That's one thing, right? But yeah, the under the bleachers thing. Like, I mean, I really have to question how much you watch this movie, Mikey, because you tuned out so much early on. But you can tell he's torn. He's torn in what he's saying. Like, does he really want to? I mean, he's saying he wants to be with her, but obviously he really likes what's her name? Laura Jean.
LJ. Yeah.
I think
Maybe it's just me. Is it just me, Bradley?
Go ahead, Brandon.
Sorry, I was just gonna say the only thing wrong with that bleacher thing is those little girls were eating Subway under the bleachers, and the last time I went to a Subway, they have ruined what I know as the Ranch Classic. I used to love that thing, and now it is terrible. Subway, your quality's gone down. Fix it, and I'll come back and eat a Ranch Classic with your triple chocolate chip cookies. Sorry, Bradley, please take it.
And that's
away.
our sponsorship pitch.
There we go.
Yeah, it's our sponsorship.
Subway.
All
right, so let's jump. Oh, sorry, Bradley. Go ahead.
Nah, you go for it. We're good.
I was going to jump into the ski trip.
There will be plenty of other times I'll probably get fired up. We're good. We keep going.
And do you have anything before we get to the ski trip?
Where do you land on here? You're kind of the swing boat right now.
On just
anything. Yeah.
It's nice that she's got a friend, a friend.
Okay, you are staying on the fence and who's going to hop on one side or the other here. You swim with the sharks and you come over with the gophers.
I think this is a movie. We got to remember this is a Netflix movie. Thank you, Netflix, for all your content. Oh, some of it. It could have been on the CW or some of those stations. Like, this is a teen movie. Mm-hmm. It is in its own little, like, teen movie. And there is something endearing about the actor Nick Santaneo, or however you say his name. Like,
who's he?
He is kind of Peter. He is kind of the dreamboat of the current. He's like the Zac Efron of our current, at least in the last year.
Is he really?
I had no idea.
Wow.
I'm not going to put my name on that, but
Brandon,
I
was up to Zac Efron in your eyes?
What? Sorry.
Why do you have to ask a question? I was literally reading an article about 7 things you didn't know about Dumbledore. Okay, so keep doing this, and I'll come back later. I want to finish this.
Sorry.
Yeah, so I think, like,
classic.
You probably have people that are fans of the book, fans of that, and then you have, this. You love anything Nick Santaneo's in. Like, I don't know. It's kind of a. What am I trying to say? Just like a teen romance. Yeah, you're going to get what you're going to get. It's not going to be a blockbuster.
That's good right there. That's really astute commentary.
Let's move on. Taylor, take us to the next paragraph.
Sure. That was
ski trip.
Yeah, ski trip. Believe in the lie. However, when Peter finds Jen actually jealous, he finds himself conflicted on his true feelings. Meanwhile, Laura Jean finds herself jealous at the two. Eventually, the two go on the school ski trip together, where they confront each other about their true feelings. They proceed to kiss while alone in a hot tub. After the trip ends, Jen confronts Laura Jean, revealing Peter spent the night in her room after they kissed, and taunting Laura Jean by showing her a scrunchie Peter let her take that was actually Laura Jean's favorite. Furious, Laura Jean breaks up with Peter and storms home, where she finds Margot has returned home from college. Peter then comes to her house, hoping to explain that nothing happened between him and Jen, but Josh arrives as well. Margot overhears everything and is visibly upset when she learns of Laura Jean's former feelings for Josh. Things are worsened when wow, this is hard to read. Things are worsened when, after Laura Jean asks Peter to leave, she sees that a video of her and Peter in the hot tub has been put up on Instagram, seemingly showing the two in a sexual act.
That's one paragraph?
That was one paragraph.
That was a long paragraph.
Night.
How much is left? Just one more?
2 paragraphs and sentence.
Nice. So ski trip.
Well, doesn't Laura Jean bring like a bunch of books with her? Like, she's not planning to do anything
with her.
She's going to be like doing some intense
her dad
reading.
Gave her.
Oh, yeah, well.
Yeah.
There is zero skiing to be any type of anything for this ski trip. You don't see
it's on a budget, man. They're on a budget.
So back to the fact that there's no adults. There's not.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There is an adult. Who's driving the bus?
Well, we don't see them.
We do.
Could be a kid.
When they walk in.
Oh, when they walk in. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I remember.
He's apparently in charge.
So I've tore Popovich apart. There is one thing I want to say about Laura Jean is when they first made this deal, there were 2 rules, and it was, the only rule there's probably a bunch of rules, but the one rule I remember is this is like Fight Club. You can't tell anybody. There were only 3 other characters in this entire movie. She told every one of them before this ski trip. She told the neighbor guy, she told the other guy she had a crush on, and big-eyed friend of the bleachers. They all knew that this was fake. So she's not the best person either, but I just want to throw that out there before I tear Peter apart again, because it's coming.
Lord, honest Abe over there.
Yeah.
No one can tell a lie. Or George Washington.
Not if you make a promise.
Nobody can tell a lie.
Nate, it's not a lie. They had a contract. When you sign a contract,
did you see him sign it?
She did.
Did you see him sign it?
I didn't see him sign it.
Okay.
They shook on it. They did shake hands.
Verbal.
That's good enough for me.
Verbal.
Let's talk about the ski trip. Somebody else jump in there.
I've always wanted to go on one, and that's all I have to say. I've been waiting. And it would have been me. I'd have been chilling by that fireplace, drinking some hot cocoa, hit the slopes, come back. I don't need a hot tub. Overrated.
Brandon,
Underrated.
before I ask anybody else if they have something to say, before we started this podcast, you said, there's something I want to say, but I want to save it. Have we hit that part in the movie yet?
We may not. It really doesn't pertain to the movie. It has to do with body odor in my left armpit.
Well, it means, I guess. Go ahead.
Okay, so the way this ties in is Peter Popovich probably sweated a lot playing lacrosse. Well, guess who else sweats a lot? Me. So when I do, I use deodorant like anyone else, right? So I use this Old Spice deodorant. Probably been in my cabinet for like 3 years because I moved out of the house 3 or 4 years ago. And I have the biggest rash on my left armpit. You would never believe it. I actually told our Bible marketing, our entire Bible team, it was really the talk of the morning meeting was my armpit. It still hurts. It's hurt for 2 days, and no creams are soothing it. So I am really concerned. So
Thanks,
I just
man.
thought I'd share this. And I thought it would be funny. I thought it'd be a cheap laugh. And I'm just going to be transparent.
That's wild, man.
It worked. I'm sure it's going to.
Sam.
I think there's not a ton to say about the ski trip. There's no adults. Those are some weird things about it. But really, what Taylor read is the ski trip. What I really want to get to is I showed you my web a second ago. Like this web confrontation. The only person missing. Well, there's 2 people missing from that. Genevieve is not in that confrontation, and neither is Chris. But everybody else. This is where everything comes out. And
Who's Chris?
Christine,
Friend, the best friend.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and so all this comes out. Margot's coming home from school, and everybody kind of meeting together, and that's when it comes out that she liked him, he liked her, she liked him. They broke up, but I didn't like her, but I wrote a story about him, and blah 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 blah. And then she's like, Peter, you need to go. You just need to leave. And as he was walking out, do you remember what he said?
No.
He said, "You were never second best." Talking to Laura Jane.
I do remember that.
Dude, deep.
He walked out
Super
saying
deep.
that. I think for as much crap as you give him, I don't think I don't know. I don't think the movie is set to make people feel like he's a douchebag. I think it's the movie is kind of written in a way that you wouldn't expect those two to be together in the end, and it just I thought that he was a great character. I thought he was a great dude. And I think you guys are being a little hard on him, personally, because I know, Mike, I know you never made a mistake. And so I know it's hard to forgive somebody when they made a mistake.
I'm not the only one that hates this guy. So you don't have to just point all this at me.
I don't hate him. I don't hate
great-
him. I just didn't like that he was like a wimp and letting her take the hair tie. I do like him.
Are we still talking about the scrunchie? Oh my!
Can you believe it?
Gracious! What?
I brought Crocs, guys.
Well,
so
because
it's to me.
Have
It's
y'all ever met
not
a
over. It's not over. Nate has talked about his speech of redemption, but we haven't talked about what led to that speech, and it was they're high schoolers in a hot tub. It's like a weird Sam Hunt song. They're in there doing whatever they're doing in that thing, and then
just kissing?
They go back to their room, and she finds out the next day when she gets on the bus and everyone's clapping that whether it was for good or for evil, he went back to the girl's room, and she walks up to LJ with the scrunchie. So that's got to come back into play. Bradley, come on, man. Unload here.
No, yeah, it's a teenage movie. I even wrote down this movie was made for teenagers. However, just because he's trying to figure it out, he's trying to sort out his feelings, like at some point, like there's still consequences for what you do. And he dragged this girl along as she's trying to figure things out, and he's trying to figure things out, and he kept people at, and he even said at the very beginning when they were talking about the ski trip, when they were drawing out the contract, the only reason people go to the ski trip is to make sandwiches. And he would know that after kissing in the hot tub, after seemingly having a breakthrough, he's got to know that walking into his ex's hotel room is not a good look. It's not wise no matter the situation. Right. So I'm not saying he's like the scum of the earth and no, he never made a mistake, but he's got to be held accountable for a little bit. The fact that he just didn't do a great job in some instances. So that's
100%.
Scrunchie still very much at play here. That's
it's always going to be at play. Brandon?
Wait for Brandon, yeah.
I know it's like he's biting his tongue.
You know what? I hope that he's a high school boy, high school young man. Look, not super discerning all the time, but he's learning. You know, he's trying to figure his way out. And shouldn't went to Jen's. Yeah, that was kind of a mistake. Hot tub got a little too spicy. Yeah, they didn't go too far, but it did insinuate a little more than we wanted. But look, he makes mistakes. He's a clean boy. He's wanting to do the right thing. And he's just trying to find love. And who isn't, right? Come on. That's all I got. I don't have any more. I'm not that clever.
I loved that it was Christmas. There's a positive. That got me a little bit.
Sheets, I couldn't get over the fact that the sheets in the room were plaid. Like, it was very intentional that this was like.
I didn't even catch that.
Yeah.
Got it either.
In the hotel?
Yeah.
Huh. Ski resort. Of course they're plaid. So they get home. It's Christmas, like Nate said. Margot's there. It's the happiest time of year. We get this big fight in the front yard with these two dudes. Margot hears everything. Have we covered it all, or is that in the next paragraph?
Josh always has a bad. Oh no, maybe we haven't covered that yet.
I don't really know where we're at.
I think Josh is bad.
Well, he just always has bad timing. I feel like he just never, at least with Peter, I don't know. He's set up well. I don't know. But Josh will always kind of be the loser a little bit.
He's just kind of a log floating down a river. Don't know where he's going to end up. I don't even know why he's in the movie. I'll be honest with you.
But he's a high school guy. He's just trying to figure it out. He dated a girl, bought a plane ticket. He's just trying to figure out and look for love. Like, the high school excuse can be made for everybody in this movie. That's why we got to put everybody on the same playing field.
But here's the thing about Josh, okay? He is ridiculous, and I don't like him. So I'm on team Peter Popovich. Bring it on.
Why don't you like Josh?
Well, probably because he got his heart broke, and then he found out about another girl, and she's breaking his heart. So he's just a horrible dude, right?
And he's lost money on plane tickets.
I'm not going to say Josh is a horrible dude. I'm just going to say, hey, this movie's not about you. Go be better than other movies. Go be better. Man. Go be better. Be better. Be Peter. Be Peter in another movie.
And he probably is Peter in another movie. You know?
Yeah.
Some other girl's movie.
Or the third one. There's 3 of them. It could be right. His first one not good.
Yeah, I think, man, I think, man, it's high school. It's a teenage movie. It's a teen novel that's made into a movie, and you have to just like when your expectations are right there, and they're not like you're not expecting this to be, what You've Got Mail or whatever your favorite romance novel is. Like, you just kind of you don't get into all that stuff. You just realize that they're high school kids. Of course, they make stupid decisions. I made stupid decisions when I was in high school. I told girls one thing and did the other thing. Like, I guess in one sense, I relate to the fact that, like, yeah, he's not making a lot of great decisions. But the movie is not based upon, okay, Peter, if you're this great and awesome man, and are you deserving of this girl who's kind of weird, but she's kind of quirky, like, and all of a sudden, if your standard meets her, then this movie's a great movie. Like, that's not what it's about. It's the journey of them getting together. And I think,
if you're looking for a guy to be Quasimodo, well, that's not Peter. Look, he's not going to be a stand-up guy ringing bells in a church, okay? That's not what we have here.
Hold on, wait. He just called Quasimodo a stand-up guy, and I can't believe he said that.
Is he not? Is Quasimodo not a heck of a guy?
Oh, man.
Look, and he's proved.
He's a heck of a guy. He's not a stand-up
He can't
guy.
stand up.
Well,
That was not
look, he has proved that even guys who don't have the best lot in life can still end up with the Esmeralda.
He didn't
right?
get Esmeralda.
Jury is out on that, boys and girls. Jury is out.
The only thing he got was he got to be your babysitter in the sequel.
Oh, wait. Well, are we going to finish this film or what?
Let's do it.
Last thing I want to say, and I'm going to argue this till I'm dead because that's my role. I get what you're saying. This is a high school movie. We have to judge it by high school standards. But we just did, what was it, A Lot Like Love? And people didn't like that because it was too predictable. And it was too this, and it was too that. And if we're doing these movies and our goal is to judge them, then we have to judge them. Whether they're in high school, whether they're adults, they get the same kind of judgment, period. That's where I'm leaving it.
And, there are people who read the Bible with that exact same mindset, and we have to clean up a lot of stuff.
But this ain't a podcast about the Bible. It's about romance.
I'm just saying you have to have perspective. Perspective is important.
So that's what we're tearing apart.
Let's finish it up.
I can't do Brandon's neck right now. That's too weird. Okay. All right. So fight in the front yard, then what?
Taylor, we're on you.
Good night.
This one really got away from us.
So Laura Jean asks for Margot's help, who calms down and comforts her sister. Kitty then reveals that she was the one who sent the letters. While Laura Jean is enraged, Margot calms her down when she asks why the letters had addresses on them. Laura Jean realizes she may have wanted to send them, but was too afraid to do so. And the sisters forgive each other before emailing Instagram to get the video taken down. There's one paragraph left. You want me to go? Or?
Do it all.
Knock it out.
Do it all? Okay. After Christmas break, Laura Jean discovers everyone knows about the video anyway, while Peter tries to tell everyone that nothing happened. Laura Jean confronts Jen about the video, who reveals she tried to sabotage the relationship as she felt betrayed when Laura Jean kissed Peter during the spin the bottle at a 7th grade party. After talking with her dad and reevaluating the relationships in her life, Laura Jean talks to Josh, who agrees to be friends again. When she hesitates to go to Peter despite having real feelings, Kitty pushes her to do so. Laura Jean goes to see Peter, and he tells her he is in love with her. The two kiss before walking off together. Ta-da.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did Dad spend some intentional time with his daughter? Giving her, dispensing her
awful person just
life, life lessons.
Even bought her a sandwich.
What the words in my mouth?
We are off the rails, folks.
Wow.
Give me some big fat Greek wedding. He's the best ever in that
telling
movie.
you. I never thought I'd be so emotionally invested in a Netflix original movie. Of all the movies we've done before, here we are.
Oh,
here we are.
Man.
Here we are.
Looks
okay,
like he's doing
somebody
his job.
jump in.
Well said, Anne. Well played. I will say that. Well played.
Thank you.
Well,
I love Christmas.
tip of the
Shout out to Christmas.
We've heard that. We've heard that already. That was Mikey's one compliment for the entire movie.
It's a great scene.
Oh man, yeah. I thought that. We left out the one part where she never read the love notes that she made it a point to say nobody ever wrote me a letter, but she never read the ones that he wrote. Well, Kitty found them. I don't know how she found them, but she found them and put them in this box that Laura Jean had used to put all the other boxes in. And so she saved all the letters, and she never read them. And so Kitty brings them down. She starts reading them. She says, and then Josh is in there, and Josh says, "Well, looks like you have gotten a lot. Those sound like love notes to me."
What a horrible guy.
That sends her to. I didn't say he was a horrible guy.
No, I'm looking at Redneck over there, whatever he's got going on.
And so then that sends her to write another one and basically go and tell Peter that she likes him, and then that's where the scene kind of comes from there.
I think Kitty's gonna run the world someday.
Yeah,
she kind of started it. She kind of had Laura Jean in like the palm of her hand a little bit.
Puppet
I mean,
Master.
does anybody else have anything they want to say, or should we just wrap this up?
Yeah, rip it, man. Let's just rip it.
I've ripped all I can rip. I got nothing else to rip.
Did you see that there is a mid-credit scene that there was a little bit more left to this film, according to Wikipedia?
What do you call it?
It's a mid-credit scene.
It's like the new Avengers.
Believe it or not, I didn't watch that. What happens?
Another dude with another note shows up at the
five.
door.
Do you want a spoiler alert?
Yes.
It's not the same actor in the next movie.
Wait,
But there is another love interest, John Ambrose, in the second movie.
Is this one of the band guys or camp or something like that?
I think camp.
I'm going to pretend like that never happened.
That changes everything.
Nice.
I don't want to live in a world where that's the case.
Does anybody else have anything about the movie, or should we just talk about our thoughts at the end? Anybody got anything?
Thoughts?
Thoughts. Let's do it.
Okay. All right. Who wants to lead off? Favorite character? Do your spiel. And why don't you lead off? What are your final thoughts about this whole thing?
Sure.
Favorite character, final thoughts, your rating.
Oh, what is it out of?
5.
10 or 5?
Unless
5?
You're Brandon.
Okay. So I really do think, as much as she can kind of be a pill, I really do like Kitty. I think she's a straight shooter. She's just, she's the one that canceled her plans to be with her sister. And I think overall she cares, but she, tells the truth in love, and is not afraid to be blunt with her. So she's in a way looking out for her sister, but I really do love the dad. And I think you get to hear more of the dad story in number 2. A little bit of a yeah.
Have you watched the second one?
Yeah, I have.
Wait, I'm gonna watch it tonight.
You should. Yeah. So then tell me your thoughts after. But I actually, so I'm the oldest of 4 girls. Laura Jean's the middle of 3. So I actually asked my dad, who's a father of girls,
come on now,
about just a quote about daughters.
This is my favorite part of the podcast.
As a father of daughters, I never could have done it without my wife. You just have to accept the fact that half the time you really don't know what's going on. He said, no nail polish in the car ever, period. Using a map is a life skill. And he just said something really sweet. So, yeah. So,
that's
my favorite character of this movie, Anne's
dad.
So,
Yeah.
by far.
And my heart is in a pool of butter right now.
yeah, he said, okay, I'll just say what he said.
gosh.
He said, I have no regrets. Some days were survival days, but I wouldn't want to not have you. I've always been proud of all of you.
Woo!
Man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh,
We need to take another.
I feel,
commercial break.
I want to be a better man.
oh man. Who you want to go next, Mikey?
Well, Anne, so favorite character?
Kitty. She said it already.
I didn't.
You know what? Kitty was hilarious. Can I be a tie between Kitty and the dad?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what would you rate it?
For what it is, I'll just say a 3.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Brandon, how about you jump in over there?
Okay. So here's the thing about this movie. I actually didn't really think the acting was incredible. It was very subpar. I like that it was in the Northwest. I like the trees. I like the setting. You can just tell it had that kind of vibe. Here's what I like seriously about it. I thought it was really cool how I think it depicted what love actually might look like for a high schooler in our time. Just like, because there were a lot of blurred lines between the relationships. And I think that happens a lot now. I don't think it's super healthy. I mean, I think it's bad, but I think that is what happens. People really don't commit, especially in high school. I don't think Peter knew what he was doing most of that movie, to be honest. But you see that he does commit once his heart's fully for Laura Jean Jane. And so overall, I really didn't like it that much until we got on this podcast. And I got so doggone riled up. Heck, I loved it. I might even go and watch the second one, except I know that Peter's not in it. But
no, he's in it. He's in it. I'm sorry. He's in it.
Oh.
But the guy that showed up at the door is not in it. I'm sorry. So.
Oh, good. I'm glad he's not.
Yeah, no,
I would have hated him.
Peter's in it. Yeah.
I like Peter. I think he's great.
Is he your favorite?
No, the dad for sure.
Okay.
Oh, and honestly, it's not even what he did in this movie. I just like him so much in My Big Fat Greek Wedding. He's my favorite of this one too. So, out of 5 butterfly tattoos, I mean, I'm going to get it 57,000 and a half.
What do you think would be the theme song of this movie?
All right, everybody.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm going to write you a love letter, not because you asked for it, not because you need one. See, I'm going to write you a love letter because I need to, because I want to spill my heart to you guys. That's all I got, because my dad for sure heard me sing that, and I'm going to be humiliated when I go downstairs.
So also, just for people who are just listening to this and didn't get to hear pre-podcast, Brandon put it on mute because he said, I got to listen to this hard rap song to get me in the mood. And then he did Sarah Bullerella.
Sarah Bareilles.
So I pivoted pretty hard. I was going to go
Listen.
10% luck, 20% skill, 15% content, but I wasn't clever enough to figure that out. So I thought,
okay.
"That's great.
Gotcha.
I'll go and let you two pillars of this thing.
Okay,
Y'all
go
can
for
hash
it.
out.
Go
But
for
I never thought I'd be here. But look at me. I mean, I'm on Team Mikey. I'm on Team
I love it.
Hate Train of this movie. But here's the thing. I think the premise of the movie is actually creative. I do think that bringing in, like, trying to see – and my favorite characters were the sisters because of the way they stuck together. They obviously have a very tight relationship with the absence of their mother, and them just really clinging to one another through that is really cool, I think. But I know it's a Netflix movie. I know it's a teenage movie. I didn't think the acting was good. I just didn't. And I know that maybe it should give a little bit of grace, but I think that if we're going to base things off of the plot instead, like, it's got to be both. Like, the plot's got to be good. The situation, like, you can have heavy things happen, but if it's not met by, like, quality acting or, like, depth, I think it's just really hard. So that's where I stood. Like, the diner scene with Peter and LJ, the one in the kitchen with Peter's mom, and, like, post that dinner, I just didn't feel like they brought, like, I wasn't like, man, that sucks. Like, I wasn't there. I was giggling because they just weren't really doing it. So I just think the quality wasn't great. And so that's really it. I think that, there's a good coming of age thought, but I just think the movie is that very good. And that's where I'm at.
So what do you rate it?
I would more guy friendly, get better guides for the movie. And there we go. That's me. I gave it a 1.75 butterfly tattoo. I just, like I said, good idea. I just don't think it's a quality movie. That's just my opinion.
Riley, I'm curious if you would stand it. I'm curious what you'd think of this next guy in the second one, and what
Well, my wife liked it. My wife did like the movie, so who knows? We might watch the sequel, and I'll let you know. If we do.
I'll go. Nate,
Go for
unless
it.
you – okay,
No,
perfect.
you got it.
So for favorite character, I'm going Dad. And it's not even that he was that great. It's just he was the best of what they gave us. And so I really appreciated the dad and the one moment that they had in the diner. Unsung hero, though. A lot of people would probably think that it's Kitty because she sent out the letters, but it's not Kitty. If there's a real hero of this movie, it's Margot. And it's because had she not dated Josh, then LJ would have never wrote Josh a letter. And then had she not dumped him before she went to college, then LJ never would have been sitting there with the little sister, pining over all these guys. Little sister been bored out of her mind, wanting to have a life and send these letters out there. So really, by Margot going to college and dating LJ's best friend, she pushed LJ to find love, whether she knew it or not. So that's your unsung hero of this movie. Whether you like the love she found or not, she found it. And that's all because of LJ. Final thoughts. This movie did not rock my world by any stretch of the imagination. It had a very sitcom-esque played story where, hey, you fake date me and then they fall in love. Like this, you could have done this in 30 minutes and it would have been fine. There's just so much. And I did not know that this was a trilogy. So that kind of tears apart a little bit of my final thoughts. But I thought there was so much that they didn't even touch on. Like, who are these other two dudes? Why we even bring them up? The one girl that's the villain of the thing, we get her in the bathroom and she's like, you just hurt me. And she leaves. And then we literally get nothing else to touch on that. Like, that was a weird scene. The one thing that I will say is good about this is, as much as we've watched these like teen shows like 10 Things I Hate About You and Last Song, no matter how you feel about the dudes, LJ was the first girl that I didn't hate, whether she could act or not, because she didn't have that angst. She was endearing. Like, she was somebody that you just kind of rooted for.
Where the girl in that 10 Things I Hate was just very, like,
she
hard.
was a lot. Yes. So this is a girl who was like, I wanted her to be happy. And that's not normal in these things. But the problem is, even though this is a high school movie and we have to rate it by high school standards, we do the coming of age thing. And I love a good coming of age story. And I've seen it done well in high school. Like, Friday Night Lights, come on. I think that they could have just done better and I would have enjoyed it more. There was just a lot of this I didn't care about. So it was what it was, and what it was fine. I'm going to give it 2 butterflies. Nate.
Wow. Yeah, I'll say I looked at the cast before, had no idea who anybody was. I did recognize the dad. What's his name? I forgot his name. I did recognize the dad from My Big Fat Greek Wedding, but I didn't know anybody. And I knew it was a Netflix original. I knew that the target was not 33-year-old Nathan. And so with all of that, I think that gave me a little bit of perspective. And I just like had really low expectations for this movie. And as it went along, I started to enjoy it. The story. I mean, Bradley, you said the plot of it is good. And I think because I've just had no expectations at all for the acting, like I was just watching. And I think, I mean, you all got so caught up we in this podcast got so caught up in just his actions. And I guess like I'm around students all the time, and students are so dumb. They make such dumb decisions. And so I was not surprised by any of these really stupid things that happen. And because of that, I just saw it for what it was, which is a high school romance. And I was in a couple of high school romances, and I made a lot of bad decisions. I said things I shouldn't have said. I did things I shouldn't have done. And so through all of that, maybe I just had a little bit more grace than you guys did towards. And that's not like me throwing a shot at you at all. I'm just saying maybe because my perspective was and my expectations were so low that I just kind of saw it for what it was and didn't get too involved in it. I will say my favorite character was the dad, and I thought that. Well, let me start here. I thought that this was like a stepsister of 10 Things I Hate About You, and in a lot of ways, like that to me, that's like the biggest comp that I had. I wrote down like 7 or 8 that I think played into it, but the high school drama, the whole like let's do this fake thing because of this other thing. The dad was a obstetrician or whatever you call that word. Like they were both. There were so many parallels in it, and so because of that, and you know how much I liked 10 Things I Hate About You. I thought it was good. I liked the movie. But the dad, back to the favorite character, the dad, like in 10 Things I Hate About You, I thought they did not develop him much, and part of that was because that's not what it was about. I thought they did develop him a little bit from the very opening scene. He's trying to recreate, which is tradition. He's trying to recreate this Korean dish that he has no business cooking, and he's really bad at doing it, but he's trying to do it to preserve the tradition of his deceased wife. And like, I mean, I think just knowing that, and he does pursue his girls, and again, in a way that probably I may not pursue my daughter. Probably not going to give her condoms when she goes off to a ski trip. That's probably not going to be the route that I choose. But like, and I'm not, don't look at the action, look at the heart behind it. Like he just wants her to like, I can't control you. I just want you to be wise if you're going to make decisions. And because of that, I really did like the dad. I thought the scene in the diner when he talked about his wife and he owned it. He's like, I don't talk about her a lot because I miss her a lot. And you guys have held me up so much through all that. And then he shows her a picture. They play the song. I just thought that was awesome. So the dad was my favorite character in that. I'll say from the comps perspective, again, 10 Things I Hate About You is probably the biggest comp. I think it had a flash of Mean Girls, just the drama, the back and forth a little bit. I really did think, I thought you were going to go with Genevieve as the unsung hero, Mikey, because she's kind of the Regina George character, right, if this were a Mean Girls. But I also thought it had like this indie kick to it, a lot like Juno, because it's high school drama and that stuff. And also with the way the kind of the indie part of it, I thought of 500 Days of Summer as well. It also had 13 Reasons Why, like that whole like I haven't actually seen it, but the movie tapes tell a story, and these letters tell a story. So I think it had a lot of everything like that in it. I would think from a Butterfly Tattoo standpoint, I'll give it a 3. I enjoyed it. When I watch it again, probably like it's not going to be on TV for me to just watch it.
Would you watch the sequel?
Yeah, I think I would. If Claudia, because she saw a little bit of it with me, I felt really strange as a 32, almost 33-year-old man watching it by myself. Was really uncomfortable. But then whatever. And so if she were wanting to watch it from the beginning, I might watch it with her because I did think it was okay. But if she wanted to watch the sequel, I'd watch it as well. So yeah, three Butterfly Tattoos is kind of where I'll go. And yeah, man, what was the line you said about? I forget now what it was. Maybe it was 2 movies ago. You said kind of what you think. Oh, it was a lot like Love, like the Ashton Kutcher, like what
you're looking for.
Yeah, and I think that is almost transferable to almost any of the movies we watch, and I think it's so true in this movie too. Like I had no real expectations, and I'm not saying we need to judge movies by high school standards, but I looked at it and I was like, well, this is going to be brutal. I'm going to hate this. And it was better than my expectations. And so I think that's why I enjoyed it. That's all I got to say.
And I have a question for you. And did the sequel, without spoiling it, did it give you a better appreciation for the first one? Or did it broaden?
I think it will make characters, it'll enrich in some characters. And you go a little bit more into Dad and a little bit more into Genevieve. And even with Peter, just kind of how that all plays out. So I think it would make you not feel as bad for watching like, oh wow, I just wasted an hour and a half. Like if you watch the next, I think it'll make it a little bit better.
3 hours.
I think I know what our next movie should be.
Well, Taylor, so you have heard, we're divided. You've heard it both ways, man.
Polar opposites.
From what you've heard, is this a movie you'd want to watch?
I feel like it's a movie I need to watch so that I can figure out how to pick sides.
Well, if that's all we've done, then we've done our jobs, folks. Like that's about the best compliment we get. Brandon, just stop being you for just.
Brandon, is that you?
Good. Wow. Anybody got anything they want to close with? He's muted. He doesn't know. We can't hear anything he's saying.
Oh man, we were pretty divided on this. Taylor, I hope you watch the movie and see where you land.
I'm not swayed on the. I'm not swayed on the movie, but I am swayed on the dad. So Anne and Nathan, I'm swayed on the dad. He is good in my book.
That's something. That's a step.
Guys,
I think we've done it. So if nobody has any, Anne, thank you so much for doing this movie.
Thanks for having me.
We needed you. We needed you for this movie because we were on our own.
You know, my favorite thing about what's going on right now is this chat's going to show up in our the YouTube video because everything's recording. Oh, that's so funny.
Oh, Brandon, stop recording, folks. He's Brandon. We've done it. We've done it again. Wow. Check us out on our podcast or YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all of it. We're all everywhere. Of it. This has been a Talk to Remember. You may not remember the movie.
It's going to be a memorable one. I think we
remember.
Brandon, I think we struck a nerve with Mikey. He can't recover. I think we put a crack in that armor.
Yeah, something.
We're all in his head, and I hear the thumping from the garage band. Mikey, lead us out.
Bye.
For romance, somehow these dudes are our only hope.
I hope you do not remember the movie, but you know to talk. Bye.